with host Steve-O for the next hour. Sit back and listen to expert interviews in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Listen to such educational shows on community association law, air conditioning repairs, plumbing repairs, estate planning, property damage claims law, real estate law, wealth management, personal injury law, family law, assisted living, and men's health. Now sit back and enjoy the next hour of Ask the Experts.
Hey, good evening. Another Ask the Experts. We are with you every Monday and Thursday from 6 to 7. And we have a special guest with us tonight because, gosh, besides all the death and sickness that's going on, there's a lot of economy things that are going on, especially with real estate. And we have one of the finest real estate attorneys with us tonight. She is our expert. She's with us. Actually, not only does she do real estate, she also does business law too, which we'll be doing next Monday. And we'll be talking more about that. So I want to welcome to the Ask the Expert show, attorney Marlon Weiner. Hi, Marlon.
Hi, Steve. How are you?
I hear you fine.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
Marlon, I'm always so afraid because I watch Fox in the morning and everybody is at their house doing their interviews, and sometimes it just, you don't hear the person, they don't hear you. So I'm always worried, but I hear you fine, and we've got so much to talk about. First of all, how are you and your family?
We're doing fine, although all separated all over the country, but everybody is fine, fortunately healthy, and all just waiting and hoping we all get to the other side of this healthy and safe.
This is going to be a very weird Passover because there isn't going to be a Passover this year.
No, it's very, very strange, very lonely, but we just hope that next year life is back to normal and that we can all be together.
I really think it will be. And like I said, we have been getting so many calls about, why aren't you doing something on loan modifications and foreclosures and real estate? First of all, tell everybody about your practice.
Sure. I'm a real estate and business transactional attorney with offices in Boca and Aventura. I've been doing this for quite a long time. I have a lot of experience in loan modifications because we went through this after the real estate crash of 2008. So it sounds like we may be facing this again, and it's time that people get educated as to what their options may be.
Marlon, do you think that could happen again?
I hope it doesn't happen at the level that we saw it, but I think that people are going to need help. Let's put it that way. And certainly in the CARES Act, the large assistance package that was just rolled out, part of it does provide some mortgage assistance to certain homeowners. It is not for every loan. It's not for every homeowner, but there is some relief. There's also some relief available at our state level. And I think that, our listeners need to know about this. So, the first thing is, what was provided at the federal level.
Right.
The first thing was that there is a moratorium on foreclosures on residential mortgages that are what's called federally backed mortgages. What does that mean? The one most people are familiar with is if you have an FHA loan. That's a federally backed mortgage. But there's also additional loans that are federally backed by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Basically, about 50 to 60% of the mortgage loans in the country are federally backed loans.
Okay.
You might not know yours is, and you might need to just make a call to your servicer to find out. Because if you are in that group of loans, and it's a very large group, effective March 18th, there's a 60-day stay on foreclosure actions against any federally backed mortgage loans. So that's some relief for homeowners.
Well, let me ask you this. Now, let's just say it takes in 60 days they have to start paying their mortgage. Do they have to pay everything?
Well, what has already been built into the CARES Act, and I do anticipate there's going to be additional relief, but what has already been built in is if you, again, have a federally backed mortgage, there is a possibility to get what's called a forbearance. A forbearance is basically you don't have to make your payment for a certain period of time. So built into the CARES Act is an option for a first forbearance period of 180 days and an option to get an additional 180 days. But it doesn't happen automatically. You've got to contact your loan servicer and request this. They're not going to come to you.
They're not going to call you, right?
You've got to get on your phone, email. You've got to get in touch with your loan servicer and get in touch with them. And if you have suffered, a financial reversal due to the pandemic, request the relief. It's there for you.
So, Marlon, I don't think everybody quite understands. If you don't have a federally backed loan, you can be foreclosed on.
Yeah. Then we roll into what's available in Florida. Okay, and Governor DeSantis also did a moratorium. They kind of end up at the same place on the calendar. Governor DeSantis put in a moratorium on all foreclosure action against residential mortgages for a 45-day period. That was implemented April 3rd, so basically ends about the same time, mid-May.
That's for any mortgage?
And that's on any residential mortgage.
Okay.
But what happens when we come to, the middle third week of May? People are probably going to need help. And so I urge people to start getting in touch with their mortgage lenders, with their servicers, and to start asking what kind of loan modifications, what kind of forbearance programs are you developing? This is really in the development stage. It's going to be happening in real time.
Marlon, you're a real estate attorney.
Mm-hmm.
And at what time should people contact an attorney like yourself?
Well, I think if they have concern that they might be needing to request a loan modification or forbearance, if they have questions either before or after they speak with their servicer, it's a time to maybe reach out to me for a consultation, just to go over what the options are, explain maybe what their lender or servicer told them. Some of this sounds like a foreign language sometimes when you're speaking to these people. See what information you're getting. And also helping them to develop the package of information that they as a borrower are ultimately going to need to submit.
I'm hearing some horrible stories about people who are trying to apply for, for not working.
Mm-hmm,
and
unemployment.
They can't even get them on the phone.
No, it's really, really tough.
And the websites are crashing.
Yeah. I know that in Florida, the website crashed so that they went to the old-fashioned printed application. It's available for people to pick up at a variety of places. I believe most of the FedEx offices have copies available, but it's become very difficult even for people to submit their unemployment insurance applications.
So, but is it difficult to get a hold of your mortgage company?
It's never easy.
Okay.
Because they're flooded with, requests. They're also, remember, they're working with the same staff that they had before the pandemic. And now they're dealing with all of the government loan programs that they have to process that, we're all hearing about, the loans to the small business owners. They're going to have, I am sure, all requests for loan modifications and forbearances from homeowners. And they don't have additional staff to process all of this. So it's going to take a lot of perseverance to to keep pushing to get to speak to somebody. And I know it's going to be very frustrating for borrowers, but this is what we're going to be up against.
I heard a story from one of our clients who said that, because now, you can get interest rates are at the bottom.
Yes.
And they wanted to refinance their home.
Yep.
And they said it was worth it going in with gloves and a mask on to get this done now. What about buying a house now?
Well, it's very interesting you bring that up, because I have been doing closings all throughout this situation in very careful way. Basically, been conducting closings outdoors, believe it or not, like a picnic, with everybody wearing gloves, staying 6 feet apart. But people are closing on transactions. They are buying homes. Basically, people who were under contract already, though I will tell you about some interesting ones that are new transactions, and loads of refinances.
So it is a good time to buy a home now.
Well, it's very interesting. I will tell you that I have 2 closings coming up for people that kind of got stuck here, believe it or not. People who would rent here for the season, one from the West Coast, one from New England. They can't get back home.
Yeah, that's right.
They're a little bit too old to drive home, those long distances. They both bought houses because they have to stay. So there's some, very unusual transactions happening.
Wow. Hey,
Then
Marlon, give everybody your phone. We're going to go to our break. Give everybody your phone number and your website.
Sure. Office is 561-443-7124, and my website is mwfloridalaw.com.
I've got millions of questions for you. We're going to go to break, and we'll be back with Attorney Marlon Weiner.
The law firm of Marlon J. Weiner, PA, is a small, focused South Florida law firm delivering high-quality legal services in a personal way. Her firm concentrates on real estate law, business transaction, and acting as a title and closing agent. Attorney Weiner combines over 30 years of solid real estate and business law expertise with understanding and compassion for her clients' needs. Attorney Marlon Weiner works with homeowners and local and foreign real estate investors who are buying and selling Florida real estate. She assists with deed transfers, residential and commercial sales and leases, title insurance, first-time home buying, and loan closings. Whether you are buying or selling residential or commercial real estate, you need sound legal advice. The law office of Marlon J. Weiner, PA, can help. To schedule a consultation, please call 561-443-7124.
We are back. This is the Ask the Expert Show. I am Steve-O. We are here with attorney Marlon Weiner. She's not only a real estate attorney here in South Florida, she's also a business attorney. And the reason why I just brought that up, I've got 3 texts from listeners. I guess I'm going to have to ask you just for a minute to put your business lawyer hat on. People want to know, how in the world are we going to open this up for business with all the deaths that are still going on and people still getting sick?
If I only had that answer, we don't know. We are on very, uncharted territory here. We don't know. We have to do it safely. We have to do it slowly. And it's probably going to be by geography and by type of business that we're slowly going to have opening. It's not just going to be like they're going to ring a bell.
Right.
And everything is going to open.
I feel sorry for the restaurants. I don't know how they're going to do this.
It's terrible. They've been devastated by this. Hotels, restaurants, really the whole hospitality industry.
What kind of feedback are you getting? I don't know if you have any restaurant clients as
do.
to their landlords and
Well,
rent.
they're asking their landlords for relief. Some landlords who are in a position to do so are attempting to work with them. Some landlords have no ability to do so. You know, each landlord also has his own obligations,
Right.
he or she. I'm aware of, one shopping center owner that proactively reached out to tenants and said, I will reduce your rent 50% for the next 2 months. That might not be enough to help.
Yeah, is that enough?
But that was, the offer. But I think that what we're going to be seeing, and speaking to some of my landlord clients, the rents are not coming in for April. And
I'm seeing where restaurants are saying, I saw where, I forgot the name of the big chain says, we're not going to pay rent.
Yep. No. And converting to a takeout, pickup delivery option, I think is a wonderful community service for restaurants who are doing it. But I don't think it's a business model for them.
Right.
I think it's showing their commitment to their community. But that's not how they are structured to be, takeout. It's going to be very, very challenging.
What about modifying a home mortgage? Do you think they'll be more lenient?
Well, I think they're going to have to do it. I do not think they want 2008 again. But from just a logistics standpoint, the banks do not have literally the personnel to process that at this point. So it really depends on how long this situation lasts. If it's 60 days, we're at one place. If it's 3 to 6 months, we're at a different place in terms of, the hardship that people will suffer and, the kind of modifications that they will need. And then the banks will have to ramp up, and establish basically mitigation departments as they did after the crash in 2008 that were purely there to handle loan modification requests.
Would a business want to secure your services to go before a bank for a loan? Because they want a lot of information.
I can be helpful. I think what most of my clients need to work really with, because I've looked at the loan applications, their first call should be to their accountant.
Okay.
Because the financial information they're going to need to submit for the loans that are provided for, under the CARES Act and whatever will be the fourth, government program, are very financial document oriented. So they need that information. They need to have everything, current, because that's what the lenders are looking for. If they have questions about actual, structuring of loans, of course I'm there to answer questions. But they really need their financial information, up to speed.
Here's something that I don't understand. Does everybody who applies for a loan get a loan?
Well,
I'm going to tell you why I'm asking, because these loans are going to be forgiven, from what I understand.
Well, it's not the answer is not really on both questions. Okay, the first thing is there's not an unlimited pot of money that's being made available. Okay. And one of the things that happened already is Wells Fargo had an allocation of funds. They allocated it already and exhausted it. They didn't have a second allocation, so they put on their website they would accept new applications. So there is there's not an unlimited amount. What many of the lenders were saying is that they only wanted to deal with borrowers who they already had an existing relationship with. They did not want to make a loan to somebody who was just calling them for the first time. So it's going to be very challenging for a business owner who doesn't have a line of credit or some kind of loan with a financial institution to get one of these loans. They want an existing relationship. They want to know their borrower.
And they told the entrepreneurs, a lot of the small businesses, that entrepreneurs, new businesses, for them to apply April the 10th.
Right.
But it seems like all the money's going to be gone.
Money was already allocated.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And the way I saw what happened today in the Senate, it's going to take forever for them to do another package.
Yeah. And we need that other package for exactly this reason, because there are so many small businesses that we're not taking care of in, the first CARES Act. And whether the loans will be forgiven is complicated because they're tied to keeping payroll in place, keeping people employed.
Right.
So you have to, there's a formula associated with how many of your employees you retain and that are retained by a certain date. I believe it's by June 30th, but don't quote me. And if you don't have that employee retainage, then at that payroll, your loan is not going to be forgiven. It is going to be termed out and you're going to have to repay it.
But that's the one that's going to be at 1% interest rate?
I think very low rates, but it's not going to be converted to a grant, essentially.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, so that because, again, it was structured to incentivize employers to keep people employed, keep them on payroll. But that's very challenging when you, by government order, had to shut your restaurant down or your store down. So there's somewhat of a disconnect.
And you can make more money off of unemployment than working.
Exactly. Many of the employees will actually do better.
I know.
On unemployment. So, and again, these are sometimes unintended consequences, of trying to structure a relief package that you end up with that. Was not, not anybody's intention, but this was moved through incredibly fast, trying to get people relief. So obviously it's not going to be perfect. It's an attempt to help.
We've got a couple minutes putting your real estate cap back on. Mm-hmm. What are most of the questions you're getting?
On the real estate side?
Yes.
A lot of questions about leases. So we're getting a lot of questions about renegotiating leases. Questions from people who are under contract for purchase. Can they get out of them? Claiming, force majeure, COVID-19, is this a reason for me to get out? And the reason most of those folks are asking is they've got cold feet. They're concerned that the market is going to go down and that they will have overpaid for a property.
Gotcha.
So, there's that concern. So that's part of it. And then I've had a couple of calls from people who were buying properties specifically to operate them as Airbnbs. And then you now have moratoriums on Airbnb and, vacation travel into Florida. So those, investors are concerned about buying a property right now.
I don't see how you keep your wits about you with everything that's going on. It's like it's a war out there.
It's crazy. And, just another little aside, I have deals that are in condo buildings. Most of the buildings are not letting anybody in to do inspections. And even if you buy a unit, they're not allowing you to move in. They have restrictions on move-ins and move-outs during this time. So we've never faced things like this before.
Well, this is why you are good at what you do. This is give attorney Marilyn Weiner a call, especially if you have a real estate situation. She is so good at this. She has 2 locations. She's in Boca and Aventura. Give everybody your phone number and your website.
Sure. It's 561-443-7124, and my website is mwfloridalaw.com.
And Marlon will be back with us again, I think, on Monday, talking more on the business side.
Sounds good.
Take care. Thank you so much. We're going to go to break.
You stay healthy.
You too. We're going to go to break. When we come back, we're going to have our plumbing. Believe it or not, plumbers have to do business now. We'll be right back.